3,
Two,
1.
monkey bars.
I'm angry. When I'm bored, I'm just fidgeting.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast.
My name is Butter.
And,
No, my name's Jesse. My
Whoa,
name's Jesse.
whoa.
Did you say
Okay,
Alex?
I don't
I'm
even
so
fucking, I don't
confused.
know. I can't
You're
remember.
Alex.
This is
I'm
the
Butter.
I'm Alex. That's Jesse. I'm Click. That's
I'm
Butter.
Butter.
This is the episode 90, 90, 90, I think.
90,
90,
90,
I don't know.
90.
I don't know when the fuck you're hearing this. We have a lot of episodes in the can, so
And I'm behind schedule on editing Aquaman,
no
so
problem, no problems.
thanks, buddy.
Yeah. So I don't know when you're hearing this. Happy St. Patrick's Day. You're hearing this.
When is St. Patty's Day?
17th.
17th. Is it always on the 17th?
Yeah.
What are the holidays? Easter is the only holidays that switches days, right?
Yeah, it's April 4th this year.
April 4th. That's Easter.
Can you explain to me what St. Patrick's Day even is?
It's a day for Irish people to get drunk.
But
Or
like,
people
but yes, but what? Why? What is? Who is Saint Patrick?
Well, I heard the story, like there's something about like a saint coming and like scaring all the snakes away, and then people just started schnogging. I think so. It's something about snakes.
Patrick came around and said, "Boo!" and all the snakes went away.
I'm pretty sure.
They all got drunk that night.
I think that's exactly what happened. They're like, "Gee, that St. Patty, there used to be snakes everywhere. Now there ain't. We ain't got potatoes."
St. Patrick's Day. For real.
How do you celebrate
really
St. Patrick's Day?
About it. You go out.
You get shit faced.
Yeah, you go out in the city and get shit faced with a bunch of drunk people. They're all wearing green. There's St. Patrick's Day parades.
Yeah, that would be. College is supposed to be a party time, but I found that for me, if I wanted to pass school in college, I couldn't like party all the time. I didn't want to party all the time.
Yeah.
And now we're in COVID, and I don't know if I would want to party all the time now. Maybe it's just not my personality to party. I don't know.
So. I don't think it's.
It'd be nice to party on St. Patty's Day, though. I would like to party.
I like to party.
Who doesn't like to party though?
But not, like I like to take breaks.
Yeah.
I don't like to party every day.
You got to rest.
You gotta rest. Yeah. But yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand St. Patrick's Day. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Why do you wear green? Because
yeah.
Irish? What? Why am I gonna get pinched if I wear green?
I think I think the other thing about St. Patty's Day is that it's like sort of a bastardization of what the actual thing is. So like I think it did start with snakes, right? And then it's just like Christmas or something. How do we get from Christ to Santa Claus?
Right.
That's nuts. Psychedelics, dude. It's crazy how I'm like I've been listening to these Joe Rogan podcasts about how psychedelics have effective history. I'm all in, dude.
You listen to that one about the psychedelics and religion and how they have been finding basically the Greeks were spiking their beer with fucking psychedelics.
Yeah, I haven't listened to the Graham Hancock one, but I listened to the Graham Hancock and the other young guy one, which followed that. And that was the one he mentioned talking about how like the classic red and white mushroom was associated with Santa Claus and shit like that. And like Santa Claus is in psychedelics. And I was like, dude, that's so cool. That's so cool. I thought I'm so inspired by all this psychedelic psychonaut type shit. Yeah, I love it.
Super interesting. It's fascinating. There's definitely some things that are like, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I love the idea of like the connection to like psychedelics to a lot of these things that
Yeah.
we like. It's almost like us as a society, and this is like a major problem too, especially with like older people. I think our generation, Gen Z, is like
The
definitely
Zoomers.
is definitely more open in terms of like different ideas and
Yeah.
things like that. But at the same time, we're also very like close minded in a way,
Yeah.
because of like the internet and how we're like so it's a weird combination of both, I think. But older people, it's like this is the way it was, this, and this. There's no if you even bring up the idea of like, oh hey, maybe the Bible was written by a bunch of dudes that were basically tripping on fucking DMT all day,
Yeah.
and tripping on mushrooms all day. They're like, no, what are you talking about? Like, what about all this evidence? What about all these things that
What
they
about the evidence?
and it's like I know, like I mean, I am almost convinced, and I'm almost 100% believe that the Egyptians were doing DMT all the time. I think
Yeah.
people in the Amazon were doing DMT all the time. I think especially DMT is in ayahuasca.
Yeah.
I think one of the craziest things that Graham Hancock talks about all the time is that the Amazon is fucking wild, man. I mean, the
Yeah.
Amazon is
Like the Amazon forest,
the
that place.
Amazon in South
Yeah.
America.
Okay.
But the crazy thing about the Amazon is that, first of all, it's huge. It is the size of India.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And another crazy thing about the Amazon, we don't really fucking know what's going on in the
Yeah.
Amazon. It's
Right.
one of those things that we haven't really looked into or discovered, or because it's just so vast and so dense that it's hard to explore.
Like the
And
ocean.
like the ocean, exactly. But the crazy thing about the Amazon is, imagine if archaeologists were like, India, fuck India. Let's just not even like. That's how crazy it is.
Wow.
And so, but
That's
recently,
crazy.
recently there was a explorer, an English explorer, in the 1500s that wrote about how he went to the end. He was the first guy to travel throughout South America, and he wrote about in the 1500s, like going through the Amazon and seeing uh, huge civilizations flourishing in the Amazon. And
Whoa.
yeah, not only like nearly.
Like current civilizations thriving?
Well, this is in the 1500s.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like
Gotcha, gotcha,
but
gotcha.
still, that's insane. In the
Yeah.
1500s, people living in the Amazon that are very advanced societies that are living in the Amazon that are very
Yeah.
and millions of people. This isn't like like people have started to estimate like 20 million people might have been living in the Amazon at one time.
Yeah.
Um, and so, but the interesting thing is that what happened was they said what happened was that this guy went in there and carried smallpox and did smallpox, and all the people in the Amazon weren't immune to it, and they all just died.
Dude, Europeans are such
Yeah.
little fucks.
Right. And then so what happened was, over the years, the jungle basically had taken over all these structures and buildings and stuff. And
Yeah.
for years, everybody thought this guy was crazy, bullshit, because they would go to the Amazon like
And they couldn't
50,
find it. They
100
couldn't
years
see
ago,
it.
couldn't find anything.
Oh,
Now,
yo.
now, with this thing called LADAR, which is basically like laser kind of telescope technology, kind of,
Yeah.
where they shoot lasers into the Amazon with helicopters and they can see what's below the surface of the Amazon. They're finding structures, they're finding canals, they're finding
Yo.
man-made things underneath the Amazon. So there's a lot more evidence that there were most likely a pretty advanced civilization living in the Amazon in the 1500s that were completely eradicated. And then if you tell
Wow.
this to somebody, like a random person, they're like, what are you talking about? No.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know. Just like, sometimes it's just like people know about like fact, and then they know about, this isn't like it's just fun to speculate, man. Like we
Yeah.
have this evidence. Like why would this
Well,
not excite you? You know?
it's just it's really crazy how egocentric, first of all, like Americans are about
Yeah,
like
right.
America just being everything and the best civilization in the world, and like America's
We
going to
are.
exist
We
forever,
talk.
you know, which is, yes, which is obviously true, you know, that's
what,
obviously true.
what could you say?
And then also the fact that humans just in general are just so egocentric
Yes.
towards that
Yeah.
stuff. It's just
Right.
like we're so closed into our perspective, you know.
Yeah.
It's just about these things. It's just like, you know, I'm talking as a person who's never traveled or anything. I try to stay educated, but like the thing to me, it's like I just find it so dangerous just not to imagine or to idealize
Yeah.
or just to speculate what you're saying.
Right.
It just seems so right to just like try out this idea. It's just like,
Yeah.
what if, you know, what if there were like an advanced
Yeah.
civilization in the Amazon? What if
Well,
there are people on Mars?
I
What if
mean,
there were people on Mars?
yeah. I mean, the scary thing about that is that, it's not like Graham Hancock, talks about he's a very, very extremely smart and very well researched and, educated archaeologist, and he's kind of doing these research about maybe finding lost civilizations, and maybe possibly uh humans have been on Earth way, way, way longer than we think. You know,
Yeah.
um, and a lot of what he talks about is that archaeologists don't even want to. They don't care. They just are like, this is fact because we know it's fact. And it's like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
It's a strange
We
thing
don't know
with
anything. We
it's a
found
strange
this bone, that might be 130,000 years old,
yeah.
which is that turns out to be true. Our entire idea of what we think humans are and how long we've been on this planet is completely falls apart, completely falls
Yeah.
apart. So if that were to be true, I understand what the archaeologists are doing in some respect, because if that turns out to be true, and that turns out to be fact, dude, erase the history books, fucking throw it in the fucking trash, because
Yeah.
everything is different,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
dude.
know?
Yeah, I
Dude,
think
that's so fucking cool. That is so exciting.
I'm with you 100%. I think that's the most awesome thing in the world to be able to just reset like that. And it's
Because I am utterly impressed. I think I said this like in like a podcast way earlier. Is that I do truly believe that I think that humans, because we right now we believe that humans have been on the planet for like 4,000 years, four
yeah.
thousand or so years, right? But we don't know. I mean, people weren't living in the ice age. How do we know that?
Yeah.
There were. What if like a huge cataclysmic event like the Ice Age wiped out a whole group of people, a whole huge civilization, or something like that, or even before that, like thousands and thousands of years ago. Like, why? It's
Yeah.
entirely possible that like we us as a civilization we are just waiting for the next cataclysmic event, a meteor hitting the Earth
Yeah.
and completely eradicating us.
Yeah, dude, isn't that's so crazy? And I love being in a
Why
relation.
that was not supposed to happen 200,000 years ago?
Yeah. I love being in relationship with Eva, and that the fact that she's a scientist, because she has really opened my eyes to a couple factors. First of all, like the malleability of science and how it's
Yeah,
a lot like art, you know? It's like it's based on
yeah, totally.
interpretations and shit like
Yes,
that. But
yes.
the other thing she's really opened my eyes
Especially
to is how
archaeology. It's like educated guesses.
yeah. But the other thing is she's blown my mind by how sure and accurate they actually know they can be. You know, it's
Right,
like Eva can look at a rock and be like, I know what time period this is from.
right.
It's like that blows my mind. And it's just like, and being educated on that, I realized, you know, it's like this thing with the coronavirus, you know, people on all these people talking, it's like, how should you know that? All this thing is just like, dude, you just don't understand the medical procedures of this. Dude, they
Yeah,
know. They
right?
fucking know.
Yeah.
This is not like them just like gambling and taking a guess. They know. It's like a great movie. Like, you know, Martin Scorsese knows how to make a good movie, you know, and you know that like he's gonna make like, you know, he's gonna make a good movie, right? With the kind of consistency. And that's how like science is like, we know, dude. We
right,
fucking
yeah,
know. But there's
right.
also the factor of, well, Martin Scorsese will probably make a good movie,
Well,
but
here's
sometimes he
another thing.
doesn't.
Well, here's another thing is that yes, totally, and scientists are people too, and
Yes.
people, what you're saying, are selfish, and they are
Yeah.
close-minded.
Yes. Yes.
Why can't our top scientists in the world be like that? Where no, I'm telling the truth, and this other evidence comes and it's like, you might be entirely wrong, and these
Yeah.
people are trying to shut these people down, and that's why we don't have these things. They're not crazy people. They're not. They're other archaeologists who studied the same shit that these people did, you
Yeah.
know. And it's just the idea of, like, government or whose organizations controlling, they like power. You know, they don't want
Yeah,
to be
dog.
questioned. That's why, like, you know, I mean, I know there's a certain book that was about, like, the mushrooms and religion, and a very,
Yeah.
very well respected and huge book. The fucking Catholic Church banned it. You know,
Yeah.
they tried to bury it,
Well, the
but
guy
nobody.
who like wrote that book was like exiled from science, you know. It didn't
Yeah,
matter how
right,
scientifically
right,
good it was. He was
right.
exiled from it because of biases.
Cause it's yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's fucking
Yeah.
weird as shit.
You know, and that makes me think about like the true factor of realizing that you're an adult is not learning any knowledge or anything like that. It's realizing that the
Yeah,
people in control know just the same amount that you do.
yeah, right.
And then you're
Yeah,
like,
it's
"Oh,
it's like
fuck."
well, it's funny when you become older. You know, I remember, like, there's certain times when I was like 18, 19, where you realize that, you know, you'll meet some adults and you're like, wow, I'm smarter than this guy. You
Yeah.
know? And you're like,
Yeah.
wow, it's a really eye-opening moment. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
or
I
because you realize that not every person. Because when you're young, you're like, okay, well, you're smarter when you're 20, or, you know,
yeah.
which is true, but, you know, on some level, like, when you get to a certain age, everybody's kind of the same, you know, in
Yeah.
terms of, like, their intelligence. It's all about kind of your experience and, you know, stuff like that. But there
Yeah.
are people that, just because they're older than you, they're not smarter than you,
Definitely
or
not.
dumber than you. You know,
Definitely.
you know,
Definitely.
you might be the dumbest person on planet Earth. You know, or you
Yeah.
might be the smartest person on planet Earth. You don't fucking know. You
It's
know.
a it's kind of a crazy. I feel like everyone has a moment. It's kind of an interesting thing. I feel like you could also label generations by like the eye-opening idiot in their childhood. So like our
Yeah.
idiot in
Yeah.
our childhood
Yeah.
was Donald Trump, right? Obviously
Right.
Donald
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah.
Other people had Ronald Reagan. Maybe someone would say Bill Clinton. Maybe some
Yeah.
people would say Obama. I don't know. For us, it's Donald Trump,
Yeah.
obviously. And it's like that's kind of like a crazy thing to be defined by, because that's like kind of an important realization, to realize how stupid people can be, which is
Yeah.
kind of like Donald Trump's obviously, in my opinion, awful to society.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm not comfortable saying that's an objective statement, but
It's not. It is
like
definitely not.
but like he was super, and he's super an important factor in all of our development towards realizing how the world works, or at least in
Yeah.
America, you know.
Right. Yeah.
That's really
Absolutely.
interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
We
So
live in a crazy place, this weird little
all
globe.
I'm saying is that those people who wrote the Bible, they're just triple balls all the time.
Dude, have you ever read what is the last book? Book of Revelations? Have you read that at all?
No, I definitely read parts of it, but
Dude, that guy said he was stuck on an island, right? And he wrote
yeah.
that. The guy who wrote that. The guy like who's never named, you don't know, John Mystery
Yeah.
John
Right.
wrote
Yeah.
the book of Revelation,
Right.
and he wrote all of this shit. And it's like, dude, if you weren't tripping on acid or something,
Yeah.
surely.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think, and I think I think another thing why this is people are trying to shut this down is a bigger problem is the major misinformation and absolute lies that were spread across about psychedelics. There's a reason that it is absolutely crazy. Like as a 20-year-old, 23-year-old, it is crazy that marijuana is illegal. It's
Yeah.
starting to change. You know, it is bad. It is as I get older and the more that I use it, the more that I like learn about it. I'm like the the way that this was became illegal is because William Hearst, you know, fucking saw cannabis, hemp, as a rival to paper, to like wood. And so
Mm,
that's why weed is illegal. It is
yeah.
not because it was corporate fucking bullcrap
I
that was
mean, it's been
basically, isn't that crazy that
yeah, it's
a plant that it comes
yeah.
from the earth that is people I think have been ingesting it for especially mushrooms for thousands and thousands of years. That
Yeah.
it's just like it's our our society is basically completely uh you know victimized it. It's completely. But hey, I can do this and go kill somebody when I get my car. I can do that.
Yeah, right, right,
And
right.
the idea that tobacco and alcohol are okay, and these quite possibly life altering, eye opening substances that come from the earth are illegal is
Yeah.
absolutely infuriating.
I know.
And
It's totally
I think in
wild.
our time, I think it's exciting to be our age, to be honest. I think times are shifting. I
Yeah,
think we
we're literally experiencing weed prohibition right now
not
and
only
that
that,
transition out of
I
it.
think by the time we're 50, I truly believe that psilocybin and mushrooms are going to be um, a medical, like it's going to be used in medicine. And it's going to
Yeah.
be used as there's going to be places where you can go and have a guided psilocybin trip. I really, I
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
I really believe that. Because there's
I think
so many
so. I
studies
think so
going
too.
on at like Johns Hopkins and these big um, or universities very well and interesting studies like psilocybin's help treating like all these different types of uh, disorders and
Yeah.
getting people off cigarettes and coping with death, cancer patients, all these very positive effects that are coming from psilocybin, and I think a lot of people are starting to change their tide on it
Yeah, I think yeah, dude.
because they're like, it's a mushroom.
And I think it's a great thing that we're starting to come around to accepting the medical benefits of things like that. But another factor that I think is also just a genuine tragedy is that the reason, like how you were saying, that these things have been restricted from the public because of power and basically money,
Uh huh.
and it's preventing people from just researching them and expanding on things. Isn't that just a
Yeah.
travesty? It's like, dude,
Yeah.
obviously maybe heroin's not
Yes.
that good for you, but why can't we research it? Let's figure out what
Well,
the
that's
fuck is going
another.
on.
I think there's also a big issue. There's a big drug issue. I was reading something really interesting where heroin itself, the actual heroin, like pharmaceutical heroin, you and I could do it right now and we'd be fine.
Yeah.
Like we would have the greatest time of
Legally.
our life legally. If we
Yeah.
took pharmaceutical heroin and we did it, we would have a great time.
Yeah.
No effects, no whatsoever. The problem with it is that heroin that people are getting addicted to, and there are people that are having horrible effects, are not pharmaceutical heroin. They're heroin that they're getting from the streets. They're getting from people who make it in their
Street
fucking
heroin.
bathtub. You know,
Yeah.
like it's not the actual thing. It's not
Yeah.
the actual shit. And so, not saying you should do heroin or anything like that. I think there's a big problem
Yeah,
with.
dude.
I mean,
I totally
and
agree.
also like the idea of drug addiction is interesting too because I don't think like people. There's a major misconception too that I like that you do weed or you do cocaine and you're gonna be addicted to it.
Yeah,
That's
immediately.
not what's going on. That's absolutely not what's going on at all. Cocaine I hesitate to even call these types of drugs addictive because I think what's actually going on is people who are getting addicted to these drugs, you find out that there's trauma. There's things going on in their life. There's reasons that they get abused to it. They abuse it. What we have to figure out is what's going on psychologically, not like to get off drugs, because a lot of times when these people go to rehab or addicted to cocaine, they go to rehab, don't do cocaine for a while, get back to their shitty lives or something
Yeah.
that's going on in their life and go back on it. That's that's the problem. It's not
Yeah.
the drug itself.
Yeah. And
And the problem is it's alcohol too. Alcohol is legal. You can kill yourself using alcohol.
yeah, right.
Kill yourself. Not only
Yeah.
kill yourself, kill others. You know, if you're irresponsible with it. But hey, I just went and got a six pack yesterday. I don't get it. I really don't understand it. It's really weird to me, and like it's. I think times have to change to. We should start looking at these drug addicts for, oh, he just did heroin and just put himself through heroin. I'm telling you, that is not what happened. He did
It's
heroin. His wife died. His wife left him. His parents are dead. Something was going through his life that he could not cope with, so he chose a substance to to do that. And
yeah.
not just doing heroin, like, oh, I'm addicted to it now. It's like that's not what's happening. It's
I
definitely
think
not.
I think that people have associated these drugs with certain kind of values, and that has really been a manipulation tactic to basically manipulate people to not do those drugs and isolate to put black people in jail because of
Right,
marijuana and stuff.
right.
It's a form of control and power, I think, is what it seems obvious to me. Maybe my perspective will change in the future, but it just seems like I so agree with you that if you look at these drugs as just literal items on it, it's just like,
Yeah.
what business do we really have as a society to say, like, to care about what people do or ingest to
Yes.
their own
Yeah.
bodies? And it's just like,
Absolutely.
it's a similar kind of thing with along the lines of suicide. These people are so well, that's kind of a complicated topic. Let me move away that from that, like,
It's
because
just,
suicide
well,
is
I
is this
think what
whole
you're
other
saying is
baggage.
I think we have to focus on maybe not getting people off drugs, but getting them help psychologically and
Yeah.
not and having them have a healthier, better lifestyle, mindfulness, mind in the long run, not just to put them in rehab and get them off this drug, because really the
Yeah.
drug is most likely not the issue.
I feel like I
Mainly to
feel
their
like
physical health, obviously, because they're doing it all the time. You know, you can drink until your heart stops.
Yeah, I feel like there's always going to be struggle. The world is never going to be perfect, and we don't want the world to be perfect because that means we don't have any more growing to do. And what a hell that would be to just
Yeah,
to exist to be perfectly forever. No, I don't want to live in that world. I want to live in a world that's growing. So yeah, there's going to be problems with coming across it, but I think, like, I feel like the thing with drugs is it's similar to the thing of saying it's like telling a kid not to do that thing, and all that thing kid wants to do is do that thing. But it's just
yeah,
like with sex and stuff, like learn about sex. It's like, what if you just fucking educate them? What are they going to
yeah.
do
Right.
then? It's like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Maybe other problems are going to come up, but it's not going to be the same
Right.
problems about being like sexual assault or other
Yeah.
shit like that,
Right.
or drug
Uh-huh.
addiction with heroin. So just
Yeah.
fucking educate, have options like free healthcare to send people in as opposed to judging people to
Yes.
say,
Yeah.
like, what business does government have in judging people for being a drug addict, along those lines? Just
Yeah.
like, just help them.
Well, that's
Just help
that.
them.
Yes, that is the saddest thing in the world. Is that these people who are addicted to drugs or addicted to alcohol, we shun them from
Yeah.
society. We basically say, that's a bummer. He went down a rabbit hole and got
Yeah.
addicted to drugs.
Not to
Pat
say
on
that
the
they're
back.
not assholes sometimes. They certainly
Of
are,
course
but they still
not.
deserve help.
Of course not. They deserve help. They do. And like I just what I was also thinking about was, I mean, I think that if psychedelic mushrooms were legal, I mean, I truly believe this. That was cool. If psychedelic mushrooms were legal,
Yeah.
our society as we know it would be completely different. Because
Absolutely.
because guess what? I'm telling you right now. So I'll say it. I've done one psychedelic experience, and this is just from my one psychedelic experience, right? If you give all the white supremacists in the world a fucking what 2 grams of mushrooms, they're not gonna be white supremacists anymore.
I know, dude. Like
They're
it's
not
like
gonna. They're not. I think Graham Hancock said this, and it made me laugh so hard, but I thought it was so true. If you want to be president or you want to run the country in any capacity, you should be required to do 10 sessions of DMT and tell me if you want to do that again.
yeah. Yeah.
Because I think when you have an experience like that, you realize that all of this that we are in, we are all in this together. We are not. This is not. You know, like I think humans, we are all one people.
Yeah.
We are not like the idea of countries and the idea of different races and the idea of different. It's all bullshit, man. It's all fucking bullshit. It's all
Yeah.
bullshit. We're
Yeah.
all in
Yeah.
this together. Humans should be going like this to save this giant country that we're on Earth. Instead of wanting to point like nuclear weapons at like fucking Korea.
What are
Why?
we
Like
doing?
what?
What are we
What are
doing?
we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like if you really think about it, what are we doing?
Yeah.
It's like we're living on this. We're all in the same. We're all we're all the same, man. We're all the
Oh,
fucking
how's
same.
how the
We
same,
really
buddy?
are.
What
Like we
the
really are.
same?
And like I know people like hear this and be like, oh look there goes Alex with his fucking.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's nothing different between a person that you'll meet in fucking Australia. Like,
Yeah.
we have the same dreams, same aspirations, same ideas of what we want out of life. Love, happiness, it's the same shit. We all want the
Yeah.
same shit. Like, so I
I
think
I
that's so true. I wonder if psychedelics do become normal. They become like you go to the store, drugstore, alcohol store, weed store, buy yourself some mushrooms. I really do believe that. I think things will be different because I think a lot of people's lives will be kind of changed because of using substances like that.
I'm 110% with you, and I'll also out that I
And
have
hey,
done a
maybe we'll
psychedelic
build
experience
another
before.
pyramid, with our bare
Yeah.
hands. Maybe that'll
Yeah.
happen.
I
Maybe that
just
was what was happening. Maybe they did so much DMT and ayahuasca that they unlocked something in their mind where they could have, I don't know,
I
super
think
strength.
I would guess my guess with the pyramids is that the mathematical equation that led to the pyramids was DMT plus a lot of slaves, and
Yeah,
that led to the
yeah,
pyramids.
yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of slaves.
I kind of feel like
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
I feel like the world that we're living in is just a total nothing blank slate of meaninglessness. I am totally for nihilism. That's my bias. That just really resonates with me right now. I don't really believe in any kind of like template or emotional, structure that's going on right now. And that what we are is that we're like a chess game and we're all these people are just like chess pieces, and that there's people of power. And what I think is freedom is that like when you get off the chessboard and you look and you see this chessboard, it's just like this little square and you can just wander around everywhere else. It's like that's real freedom. Don't
Hmm.
just realize that these rules of chess that we think are everything within this square is just what humans have decided is cool right now. Is literally all
Well,
that
yeah.
is.
What I'm saying though is like I think if people were to do DMT, especially people of power, a lot, I think the rules of that chess game would be completely different. It would
I
be a
agree.
different.
Or
It
people
would
would
be a
realize that they don't matter.
yes. So it would be a different game that we're fucking playing
I
because the
agree.
game that we're playing right now is fucking stupid. You know?
Dude, I'm 100% in agreement with that. And I think that like recently what I've been thinking and is that like the monk life, like I used when I was a kid, it was just like, man, it must be so fucking boring to be a monk. But as I've gotten older, it's just like, dude, they fucking know what's up. All they
Yeah.
do is sit around and just experience the world.
Right.
That's life. That's all it
Yeah.
fucking is, you know? Like
Yeah.
when we're listening, we can say we're doing great things, we're making a bunch of money, we're making an influence, we get a lot of bunch of likes on Instagram. All we're doing is living in the world, you know? It
Yeah.
doesn't fucking
Right.
mean anything. And the monks are just accepting. That's all that they're doing, you know?
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
only difference between a monk and what we're doing. We're
Right.
all just experiencing the world. A monk just realizes that's all that they're doing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
like the sickest, most
Yeah.
badass thing ever. I have a huge amount of respect for
Pretty cool.
people to have that integrity to do that. I
Yeah.
don't know if I ever could do that
Yeah.
because, like, I have a monkey brain and it's like, man, I can't meditate for 6 hours a day. This is crazy.
Well, also,
But
like, to me, that's not living a life. To me, because I didn't grow up with it,
sure.
or, like, just sitting there for basically all day, that's not really experiencing the world to me. Like, it's
Yeah.
not. Experiencing the world to me is interacting with tons of other people and going around the world
Well,
and
you can still do
experiencing.
that as a monk. Like monks
Totally, yeah,
travel.
absolutely, yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, I would not want to do that. That's not something. That's why
Hey,
I'm not a monk. That's why
hey
there's not a
man,
lot of
it's
them.
it's completely it's
Not a lot
completely
of There are not a
understandable.
lot of monks in the
It's a
world.
little it's kind of going out of fashion. And I don't know exactly what a monk means, like more of what I'm like because there's also I shouldn't just like general I'm thinking of like the idealized kind of monk, like the
Right.
good kind of monk because the problem with monks is that they're also humans and they have their own institutions and like Buddhism has like different strains of stuff and they argue
Yeah.
about what's right and wrong. It's just like, okay, well that's kind of defeating the purpose about being a monk just living in the world because like you're arguing about these meaningless things that humans have made about themselves.
Hmm.
Or maybe we'll die and we'll get fucked in the ass by Buddha and Jesus when they're like, you're so stupid, you didn't think that we existed and now you're gonna burn in hell forever. And it's
Yeah.
just gonna be Buddha with his
Keep
fat
laughing
ass
about.
and Jesus just laughing down and it says, you
Yeah. Keep
fuck, you
laughing
got
about
it all
the
wrong,
fucking
dude.
guy. Dude, I don't even know what I would do. Like, it's like I
Can you
die and I wake up in heaven and it's like real. It's like, what? What are
Yeah,
you
it's
talking
just,
about?
like
What am I
Jesus is
doing?
at Jesus was at the counter. It's like, dude, you masturbated way too much. You're not getting in here, dude. You're like, we're
Yeah, this,
way,
yeah, dude, you
you're
said
going way down. You're going
said
down really
way too much.
fast.
Said way too much. Now, I mean, the whole Allen argument's a whole other podcast, but I'm almost like
Yeah,
certain what I think that is. But um,
you're certain what you think heaven is.
well, not heaven, but I think the idea where it came from. But
You think it's mushrooms? I want to know. You
no,
got to
I
tell me
think okay.
now.
I think what happened is I honestly do believe this. I think this is kind of I don't know. I so our brains are extremely. We don't know what the fuck is going on in our brain at all.
At all,
We
at
don't
all.
know what the fuck is going on. And in our brain, we have tons and tons of chemicals like dopamine, uh,
Hmm.
adrenaline, all and DMT, dimethyltryptamine, all in our brain. And I think what happens is when you have a near-death experience, like literally you are about to die. The knife is in your fucking chest, and then it's getting deeper and deeper, and you're in your last seconds. I think what happens is because of all this, adrenaline or all whatever's going on, I think it's basically the brain has a chemical dump, just a complete just dump in your brain. So I think what's happening is in those experiences, because you hear tons, you can read tons and tons and tons and tons of people who have these near-death experiences where they see something, they have an encounter with another person, someone that's dead, someone that's whatever, and they feel that it's real. I think
Yeah,
that's I think that's what's happening. I think that, and I'm not saying that when it's all gone that stays and that maybe your brain just I don't know. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
love
That's the thing.
this.
No one knows. But I really, truly believe that I'm not saying that's a beautiful thing in its own right, but like, I think what's happening is that your brain is basically it's a natural trip.
Yeah.
It's this
Yeah.
trip of a lifetime, and I think that's where a lot of these things come from, where people have these near-death experiences and they think, oh wow, or I saw to the other side, or I saw the light, or I saw something where it was, this other thing, and then I got pulled back,
Yeah,
you know.
dude.
But
Yeah,
the thing is,
dude.
we'll never know. We'll never know until we never know. And
Until you die.
I think like I don't think there's anything like the thing is you don't know until like the past that point, you know. But I don't know. I think that that's what's going on. But
I think I love that idea, man. I think that that's a great idea. Honestly, I'm can that's I think that's very convincing. I tend to I would lean towards believing that,
right,
without any, without any, just on impulse in my emotions.
yeah.
I would like to believe I would believe that. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that, like,
Or when you die, you're back on you're on another ship, and you look
yeah,
around and you
aliens,
see all these
dude.
aliens, and you're like, oh my god,
Matrix.
the Scientologists were right.
Yeah, the thing about death is that it is what makes every single human being's life on this planet the hero's journey.
Yeah,
Death is the
right.
reason why
Yeah,
we
right,
keep going,
right. Yeah, right.
what would we be without death?
That
It's a fucking terrible
weird,
thing,
really weird,
but we
really
wouldn't,
weird existence.
like, if we I bet if humans met somebody who was eternal,
We wouldn't be
like, who lived
podcasting
forever.
right now,
Yeah.
for sure. You know,
Oh, if like death, yeah, right, yeah, why would we be
why?
podcasting?
Why
Yeah,
the hell would
why?
we do this? Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I feel like,
Legacy? What is a legacy? What
I
is
bet
that?
I bet, like, if an eternal being, like, went over, I bet someone who lived forever came and looked at the people on Earth and these humans who are dying all the time, they would blush because they'd be like, man, those guys get shit done.
Yeah.
What have I done? I've just flown around the universe and masturbated with my 6 penises. That's all I've done.
Wow, six. God.
6. When you're an eternal being, you got plenty of penises.
Yeah,
Maybe you get to
you
grow
can
one
have
every
as
year.
many as you
Can you
want.
imagine if humans
You
lived?
grow one.
If humans lived longer
You
than
grow
100
one every
years.
50 years.
Yeah, well, not 50, because then we would see humans with 2 dicks, but 100. If you grow a dick 100 years, if a human lived to 200, then you just, like, got a new dick, or you get to pick a new body part.
The
That's like
people,
a
you
like
hear
like
about all
spore.
these like different spore. You hear about all these different like body dysmorphia things. Does somebody out there have two dicks?
Yeah, dude, no, that's real. I'm sure that's real.
Wow.
If someone has 3 testicles, I'm sure someone has 2 dicks.
Wow.
Actually, I think there's a Reddit
And
thread about some guy with 2
he's
dicks.
got two shafts.
Yeah, 2 shafts, dude. Yeah.
Dude. What if it work? What if it work? I doubt it does. What if it works like a normal dick?
Yeah, no, okay. I'm remembering now, which this is based on memory, okay? And this was based on a Reddit thread. So I'm not a scientist and I have nothing to back this up.
Based on Reddit.
Yeah, but based on Reddit, there's an AMA with a guy, which is an Ask Me Anything on Reddit,
Yeah.
with a guy who said he claimed he had 2 dicks. And he said that they both worked and he had to masturbate frequently or else he would have so much cum that would store up that it would be painful. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine?
Was it the same set of balls, or
I don't remember.
he had 4 testicles?
I want to say that he
That's a
had 2
lot of cum.
testicles. I think he just had 2
Okay.
testicles, but he had 2 dicks. He had 2 fucking dicks.
Shafts.
2 shafts. 2 shafts peeping out. I can't imagine the look on the girl's face. Like the first.
That had to be a warning.
Do you think his parents told him how strange he was? How soon? How early do you tell your kid that 2 dicks is weird?
There's a lot of freaky ladies out there. I think.
Yeah.
I think whoever he's with enjoys it quite a bit.
I mean, I'm going to sympathize because if I heard if a woman had 2 vaginas, I would want to look.
I'd be pretty excited.
Yeah, I'd be pretty excited. I get to pick. What's not better when you get options, bro?
Then if you date somebody, if you date her,
yeah.
This night I'm gonna go on the righty tonight. That's fun.
Hey, you know what? Actually, Why do we have to be so male-centric about this? Why don't we ask her which one she wants?
Yeah,
Maybe she has a preference. It's
which
like
one?
lefty tonight,
Lefty
babe.
or righty?
Righty's tired. Use lefty. Okay, babe.
Uh,
And they can feel
that
good about
happens.
that.
That definitely happens. That is
You
some real
know,
existence out there.
I tend to believe that
I
two
think no,
dicks is more
I think
possible
that's
than two
real.
vaginas.
No, I think two vaginas is actually more plausible because they do like two holes, you
Well,
know.
okay. Here's the thing.
Because dick is like way more, it's way more involved of an organ, you
Well,
know.
here's the thing. I think that it's more possible to have dick because like a dick shaft like isn't doing anything internally. It's just a piece of flesh that like came out. So it's like an extra finger,
True.
right? But
Yeah.
a vagina is just an opening to a fucking uterus and like an inner system. So it's like having a
Yeah.
second vagina is like maybe you could have a second hole in your system, but
Yeah.
that's like
That's
super
true.
gone wrong. It's like you're not going to develop a
Here you
second
go.
uterus. Is that possible?
Yeah, I doubt it. But woman's health. Let's read this. This woman has two vaginas.
Whoa.
Here's how that's actually possible. Oh, she's a YouTube star. What?
The two vag woman?
Yeah. Now she's sharing something way too personal. After experiencing ongoing kidney pain, the Sandra went to the doctor last year and discovered she has two vaginas.
Wait.
Okay,
She
not only, no,
discovered
no, no, look,
like
not
the
only,
doctor had to discover that?
I guess it's one entryway, I guess, but, so it's not
Oh.
only that, she has two wombs and two cervixes.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Did she like eat her twin or something? Just absorb into her twin? I know
Dude,
that's not how that works, but
I ate my sister in the womb.
I wanted two uteruses, so I ate her. Uteri?
Wow.
What's the plural of
Yeah, but how
uterus?
is it possible to
Uteruses?
not know they had two vaginas? Wouldn't it be obvious? Nope, says doctor or whatever. It's not the type of thing that women find out on their own. It's also fairly easy for a gynecologist to miss it. When you have a double vagina, there's essentially a septum. Oh, wow. Oh, dude, so check this out.
Okay.
Okay, okay, this is actually really interesting. So this is what I thought initially. So it's
Okay.
not like, if you have two vaginas, it's not like you have two pairs of meat curtains. It's
Yeah.
like one pair of meat curtains. But
Layered.
yeah, but inside it's like a nostril. So you have two like so
Oh
you have
shit.
two entryways. That's what this is saying.
Oh shit,
Isn't
that's
that crazy?
wild.
And you have two wombs. So you have two like I have so many questions about that. You know what'd be really unfortunate?
What? I
One
have
guy
no idea what you're gonna say.
this is okay. So she's having sex, right?
Yeah.
One guy comes. She's having a threesome. One guy busts the one guy, and then the other guy busts the other hole. She gets pregnant two times.
Oh my god. That would be the most
9 months. Nine
alarming.
months later. Yeah, I don't know how that would. I guess two
I have
babies.
to believe for this poor woman's sake that she's infertile because God forbid she had to
Yeah,
have
let's
a
read
baby
that.
between like because like if she has a vagina and then she halves this amount of size that like her hole has, having a baby would be
Yeah,
the most
right.
agony. Like she would have to
Okay.
take off her leg, I feel
Okay,
like.
wait, let's see.
Or she
Um,
would have to just sacrifice her asshole if she wanted to have a kid. That poor woman. I hope to God she's infertile.
yeah,
Just
so it's just the
adopt.
vagina. It's basically like the vagina is split in half.
That's so crazy.
But in most cases, but there are rare cases where they have two wombs.
Wow.
Uterus style is, yeah.
That's so wild. The human
Some
body's so
women, yeah.
crazy.
However, there's a possibility of having difficulty carrying a baby to full term since women with the condition have uteruses that are smaller
Mm-hmm.
than normal uteruses. But James, the doctor, says it's possible to have a healthy pregnancy. He's delivering three babies for one of his patients with a double uterus.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So
Now.
what I'm
Okay.
saying, what I'm saying is no, you can have one baby.
But
I'm
what if you have
saying
two?
that's what I'm
Dude.
saying. You can obviously
Okay.
have a baby.
Now, I'm sure that that was a complicated. Well,
Dude,
okay, okay.
the last thing this guy said was, I guess that's twice the woman.
What? That's what the journalist said?
No, the doctor, I guess, was joking. He said she's double the woman.
That's first of all, okay, that's funny, but that's also really disgusting. That's the most what a misogynistic piece of shit. Double the woman?
Well, it's a joke. It's just two vaginas. I mean, it was
Unbelievable.
kind of funny if two dicks was like you're double the
Yeah.
man. You're double the
It
man.
is a really funny misogynistic joke.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
really it is very funny though. I will admit I'll laugh. I'll give it up.
Related. 5 reasons why your pussy's going dry. Um. Anyway.
Why your pussy's
Oh, we
going
wanted to talk
dry.
about Kendrick.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ. Damn. That was way off topic.
Yeah, we had a large digression.
Large digression. But like you were starting to talk about Kendrick, and I said, "Stop! I like Kendrick." Cause I listened to Pimp a Butterfly the other day. So it was like fresh in my mind. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fixing my microphone because it got all loose and
Yeah,
it was at a weird angle and I wanted it to be directly in my face.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Well, now you do. You weren't before.
No, I hear you good,
Okay, good.
loud and clear.
So you listened to Pimp a Butterfly and did you just want to like gush about how good that album is
I don't
or
know what you were going on
I
about
fucking hate
Pump.
Kendrick. I hate him.
Oh, oh.
No.
All right,
No, I
everybody.
no, I was because the comparison I was making was talking about like respecting JPEG more just because of like the creative experimentation
Sure.
that like
Yeah.
he was doing. But I had this realization, honestly, like with Kendrick. Kendrick
I
is
mean,
such an
I
interesting
think,
person.
I think they both have. I mean, it's all about your influences, right? You
Yeah.
know, Kendrick is definitely more inspired by Dr. Dre, jazz rap, Tribe Called Quest, fucking Eminem.
Personally,
You
I'm
know,
just so inspired by the one man band that JPEG's doing. I just find
yeah,
that
oh
to be
yeah,
more
absolutely,
inspiring than
yeah,
anything else. But I do
absolutely,
have to say that like with Kendrick, I remember like these last couple of years after T-Bag came out, and I was still like college was sort of when I was getting into hip hop and stuff. And when I started to get educated on different kinds of hip hop and T-Bag like Kendrick was one of the first guys I listened to, which was a great way to get into hip hop. And then after listening
I
to a
think a
bunch
lot
of
of
other stuff,
people
and
did
then
for sure.
yeah, and then returning back to P-Bab in comparison to like other
Artful hip
stuff,
hop, I would say.
yeah.
Yeah,
But Kendrick is like on an other echelon of different rappers. He's just like
yeah,
he is on a different level of his tech, his like
yeah,
his lyricism and his creativity in flow. He's
yeah.
so creative
Well,
in how he raps.
he has like what makes Kendrick my favorite rapper. It's like a lot of things. I mean, I have a lot of I don't really honestly favorites kind of bug me now because I I just love so many artists that I don't really like to pick like a favorite person,
Yeah,
especially in music.
I'm
But
with you on that. I'm
Kendrick
100%
is
with you.
somebody who like I mean, all I can really have to say is just listen to how much a dollar costs and really sit down and read the lyrics and read what he's talking about. It's a masterpiece of a song.
Yeah.
It is an it you have there are songs on Two-Pound, The Black and the Berry, um, How Much a Dollar Cost, You, um, Wesley's Theory, that are a stroke of genius. And not like in terms of like, the sound of it, amazing. Sound of it is one thing. You can hear all the influences in it. It's not the most like mind blowing. It's not the most like experimental shit you'll ever hear in your life. It is very much, it is an amalgamation of all these amazing influences: jazz, rap, West Coast hip hop, all these things in the one amazing sound palette of an album, right? But what makes it stand out is Kendrick's insane lyricism. That is, one of the things that really bugged me when I started listening to that album and falling in love with it. And as I've gotten older, when I first listened to it, I was like, oh wow, this is a great, really eye opening album about being black in America. But to me, now it is so much greater than that. It is not
Hmm.
just an album about being black in America, growing up being black in America, being famous as a black man in America.
Yeah.
It is about um, being a human being in America, being a person of influence, being a, 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 a friend, a wife, a lover, all in this lens of being a famous person,
Yeah.
on top of being black,
Whoa.
because that is his experience. One of the things that really frustrated me that all my cracker friends in fucking high school would say, it's like, yeah, I don't really listen to it because he's just talking about being black, and
Wow.
that always made me so frustrated because it was the denial of not wanting to listen to someone's experience, and then it was also the denial of like not almost not acknowledging that what he's talking about is serious or what he's talking about is not um relevant to him, right?
Dude.
And like it's not that. It's a portrait of his life. It's so
Yeah.
honest. And literally how much the dollar cost is, I mean, all I have to say is just fucking read it. It's a poem. Read that shit. He didn't win a Pulitzer Prize for nothing. He is a genius. He's someone that is like, he's on like another level of like, I mean, he's only 25 when he made that.
That's so
And
crazy.
so, and Dan, as much as I love it, to me, it doesn't nearly get even close to the heights of what Tupac is.
Man,
But I
I,
love it still.
dude, what you just said, I think, is so profound because this transition of going from being in like a like a politic album or like a social awareness type of thing to
Yeah,
black,
right.
how it's transformed from being that to being this humanist like war cry
Yeah,
is astounding because you've nailed what this progression what racism is, and especially like
yes,
this factor is, because people will say it's just like, well, that's not me, that's black people, it's like, I won't
right.
listen to hip hop because that's black people. It's like, you fucking idiots. We're
Yeah,
human. We're all human. Black people. There
right.
is nothing separating us.
Yeah,
Nothing at all.
right.
There's like a hundred, like a couple thousand miles and a couple of pigments of skin color. That's fucking it.
Yeah, yeah,
This,
yeah,
this is a human life cycle. And
yeah.
if you just think it's just like, there's nothing to relate. That's the same thing about people like not wanting to listen to like women or
Oh, yeah,
like not wanting women to
totally.
direct or make art and shit like that. It's just
Mm-hmm,
like, well, I don't relate
mm-hmm.
to women because I'm not like, I don't want to watch a
Right.
woman make a movie or art because I'm not a woman. It's like, that's so crazy. That's
Yeah,
like, that is such an important thing that it's just like, if that is something, which I still think that we're on that progression to get to that point of that realization that it's just like, man, this isn't just black people, this is us. Not to claim, of course,
right.
black people have
Yeah.
had their own separate hardship that white people have not. I'm not claiming that. That would be
Yes,
absolutely
yes,
insane.
yes,
But it's
yes.
also ridiculous to say that, like, because that's like the inherent racism that black people have been trying to tell us for years that we've had.
Yeah,
That is exactly that type of thing. It's just like, well, they're just talking about being black. It's just like, yes, that's exactly what they're talking about, and you should really listen to it
yeah.
because it's part of your history too. It's a part of
Part of
your
our
growth.
history, but I think what makes To Pimp a Butterfly there's been albums that have come out that are specifically made about the black experience in America. More specifically, an album that came out the same week as Damn, Joey Badass, All American Badass, which is an
Yeah.
amazing, amazing album. But he set out to make an album that talked about the political uh, landscape when it pertains to black people. Kendrick set out to make a record that was about all of these different things. Like,
Yeah.
to his life, it is one of the most personal and honest things I have ever heard in my life. And you listen to the Blacker the Berry,
That song's crazy.
you listen
That's
to that
so
song
crazy.
and what he's talking about in that song. It is absolutely heart wrenching, heartbreaking, and but it's something that, I mean, to put it bluntly, I mean, he's talking about gang violence and why
Yeah.
and the hypocrisy of gang violence. He's not even talking about like he's talking about a problem with how black people are viewed, obviously, but
Yeah.
he's also talking about gangs in general and how we need to stop doing this, like to
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, the last line of that song. I haven't heard it. I don't even know. Millions. I don't even know. It fucking punches you in the fucking face every single time. He says, "If gang banging killed blacker than me, hypocrite." So it's basically saying he. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
saying he killed somebody, but on that song, he's basically saying, "Listen, I was part of gang violence. I was involved in possibly killing some people, and I'm this hypocrite for talking about." You know what? It's this incredibly
Yeah.
brutal and incredible song that I think like art is just, it is so admirable to someone, because this is a guy who had Good to Bad City that was a huge album, very traditional in the sense compared to Pimp a Butterfly. Very like more traditional beats,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
instrumental choices. Still amazing record about a young man growing up in Compton, California, to the level to be a rapper, to be famous, all that stuff. So Pimp a Butterfly is more about, I'm famous now, and here's basically what I've learned being this famous, right?
Yeah.
Um, and but to him to put a song out like that as a single
Yeah. He
and
put Blacker
be,
the Berry as a single.
yes,
Wow.
and it is such an insane statement, and like something that, you know you were saying that, like, until like earlier you were like, oh, until Kendrick comes out with another album.
Yeah. Right.
I am so, I think honestly I have, Damn is an amazing album, but to me, I think the days of him trying to make something that is like, you know, incredibly out there and are kind of gone. I don't know if he's interested in kind of make. I think this band clearly was as much as I love it, was a clear, I'm going more mainstream with this. I'm going more commercial for
Yeah.
sure. Humble as an amazing, it's great pop rap song, amazing. But consciously he was like, I'm going more straightforward with this.
Well,
I'm
okay.
going with the
Here's
Black Panther soundtrack. So I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know who's really um, interested in making something like that again. But I don't know.
I
I
I
hope
think
so.
I think you might be right, but also just to put it into the fact about like the T-Pad was obviously many many years in the making. It was
Yes.
like George
Yeah.
Lucas has been thinking about Star Wars since he was a kid. That's like
Right.
what T-Pad was
Yes.
for
Yeah.
Kendrick.
And he
And
said
like
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Damn was seemed more like something was just like he could just throw together a better album, like pop album, than anyone else could in a year, just
Right.
because he was so much more talented. He's
Yeah.
so much more talented than any of these other schmucks in the game.
Yeah. Right.
So like, I don't know. Maybe he'll put out these albums like Damn and stuff, and then 10 years from now he'll drop another groundbreaking thing as
Right. I
these things
mean,
mature in his mind.
yeah. I mean, it's another thing too that I think like I am at the point now where like there are certain artists that I want music from them like super immediately, like Brock Hampton or
Yeah.
God. It seems like they have an album coming out soon. They're posting shit. And very excited, man. I need it. I need that. I need that to come out in the summer. That's the
Uh,
shit. That's the
I
shit that I need.
I know
But
that they're probably I'm sure that they're very busy, but I'm just worried that they're in like a creative rut because of like how emotional Ginger was. And that's
I
terrifies
don't
me.
know. I mean, I think like I don't know, man. I wonder what the sound's gonna be like because
Me too.
I don't know. I would hope to think that they are past the Amir situation because Amir's doing his own thing. Actually, if I'm being honest, the songs are actually okay. You know, I think that he has some potential, and he's kind of doing his own thing. You know, like
Yeah.
doing well. You know, he's on a record contract, record label, so he's kind of doing his own thing, and seems happy and seems content. You know, so I would assume, I would hope that they have moved on from that situation. Not that Ginger was like specifically like about that or a reaction to that, but it was definitely um like a big part of that record, them going through that really horrible situation. But
Well, they're just I mean, this next record will just really set the tone for what they're going to do, you
yes,
know. Because I mean, like
and they're
honestly, I
also a
could
group. They're also a group that I that seeing almost every interview Kevin Ashton's ever done. Every album that they make is going to sound completely different than the next one. Like they
yeah.
are just so committed to the idea of that artist thing where they're like every album is gonna sound different, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
because they're fucking Kanye's like worshippers, you know?
And I
Like
think
that's what Kanye's whole philosophy is, you know?
here's the other thing I'm kind of thinking with Brockhampton specifically is that I don't think that Brockhampton as a group is going to exist for much longer because
I don't think so either.
I think they're going to break up and create amazing solo material.
I think well, if I'm gonna guess, I think they're gonna have maybe 2 or 3 more albums, and then I think they're
Yeah.
gonna be done.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be done.
I think you're right. I could believe honestly, I could believe that they could break up now. I could believe that they could break up after one more
Yeah,
album. I would not be surprised like to see something like that.
yeah,
And honestly, I wouldn't be that sad because I love Kevin Abstract solo material
yeah,
and I would
right,
love to
yeah,
hear any of the
yeah,
other guys
right,
on
yeah,
Brockhampton
right,
because it's like they're not going to break up because they don't like each other anymore. They're going to
yeah,
break up
right.
because it's just like we got to figure something else out. We're growing. We have to do
I
something
think
different.
they definitely have like I mean I don't know it'll be interesting because I would hope that they don't break up, you know,
Me
obviously,
too. I love
but like
Brockhampton. It'd be so sad.
I I could see it going for a long time, but I could
Yeah.
also see them like doing solo stuff, and they because right now they are releasing music at a rapid fucking pace. I mean,
Hmm.
since 2017 they release an album a year at least, you know. And except for 2020,
Yeah.
they released that technical difficulties thing, which is actually really cool, like those little
Yeah.
singles. But like, and they're definitely coming out with an album like soon. So
You just reminded me how little time it's actually been since they've released an album
yeah,
too.
they've also
That's the
yeah,
other
Ginger came
factor,
out in 2019, you know,
which is
like late 2019.
crazy. I can't believe that it was only 2019
Right.
that that album came out.
And so they probably were gonna have an album in 2020, but obviously things
2020.
halted that. But you know, yeah, I mean, I obviously love to see solo stuff, but like I was thinking about this the other day. It's like some of the artists, I have a hard time seeing what their solo stuff would even be like. You
Yeah.
know, like Merlin, for example.
Yeah, what the
I don't
fuck
know
would he
what the
do?
fuck. His music would sound bizarre as shit. I would like to hear it, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's solo potential in like all of them. I think
Yeah.
there's certain artists that have like incredible potential. Like,
I think Merlin
but
would make a great career as being like a feature artist.
absolutely,
He
absolutely.
would kill as a feature
Merlin is
artist.
like one of the secret weapons of rock chocolate. Whatever
Yeah.
his because he's
Voodoo
so
Man.
like there's so many like he's such a wild card. Like he
Yeah.
can kind of do he can do these like wild flows and then he can do like super melodic on like No Halo, or something like that. Or he's
Yeah, it was so beautiful.
very
No
very
Halo makes me
it's
cry. It's so
such a
good.
great
Oh my
song, yeah.
god.
But there's you know I think
Ugh.
honestly I think Kevin will definitely put out another solo album. I would assume like at some point.
Yeah.
Um, he's great. Not Champion, I think, will do really well. Um, Joba, I think, will be really interesting just because he's so versatile. Like, he can sing, he can rap, he can,
Yeah.
play, a bunch of
He
instruments.
could
So it'll
make
be
it
kind of
happen.
interesting.
He can make it
I
happen.
would die to hear a Bareface solo album. I would fucking, like, probably
Yeah.
pass out if that came out. Um, because he has the potential to be like, because he's very influenced, obviously, by, like, Frank Ocean, right? And like Frank Ocean, people like that.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see like what his kind of shit would like sound like by himself. Because some of my favorite songs Brock Hampton has ever done are those closures. Summer, fucking Waste. They're fucking beautiful
Yeah.
ballads. And it's just
Yeah.
him fucking riffing on a guitar and just singing his fucking brains out, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so, like, I'll like a bunch of summers, be fucking awesome. It's
Yeah.
so cool. So I don't know. Dom will be fucking excellent because
Yeah.
he's just an amazing
He's
rapper.
so good.
So, like, I I definitely think there will be solo material at some point, but I think that it might be intertwined with Brock Hampton. I think my point is that I think Brock Hampton might they like put out an album like every 4 years or 3 or 4 years, and like do a Wu-Tang thing, like
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Wu-Tang put out
That'd be
albums
really
together,
cool.
but they also like granted Wu-Tang had a lot more members, performers, but so it was kind of harder to put out like Wu-Tang Clan albums, but obviously all those guys put out almost classic works on their own right on just solos. So
Yeah.
I can totally see that happening too. So,
I think,
but
yeah, I think that's a good perception. Honestly, the future is really bright. The future is really bright.
yeah.
I think we should transition to talking about the movie of the
Okay. Yeah.
week. So, here we are. It's been an hour, and we're going to
Hmm.
talk about the movie that I have chosen for us to talk about.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
you've
Yes.
seen it? I assume you've seen
Yes.
it. The
I
movie
did.
that we are talking about is an animated stop motion animated film called The Wolf House by artist who I don't remember the name of. I apologize tremendously.
He's Chilean.
They're Chilean. I think it's two guys who made it. Two guys
Yeah.
or gals. I'm not actually sure. I really don't know. It's a very indie film. It's very, very indie animated film. Now, got my interest piqued by this film because I saw some things on Twitter, I believe, that were posting about great animated films going on, which I'm
Uh
very
huh.
interested in animation.
Right.
And that was like Wolf Walkers was among that, which I really want to
Yeah.
see that.
Wolfwalkers. Yeah, I've heard about
And
that.
and the Wolf House, and I saw some clips of animation from it, and I just saw like 30 seconds, and I was totally mesmerized, and it's like I really want to see that.
Yeah. Right.
And I saw some like Guillermo del Toro talked about it, saying
Yeah.
that like this is a masterpiece and all of that.
Right.
And so I was really excited to watch it. I didn't look anything into it, and I watched it. I just watched it earlier today,
Yeah.
actually. And obviously, the animation
Yeah.
is mind blowing,
Right.
like innovative, best
Yes.
stop motion
Yeah.
animation I have ever
It's
seen.
insane. It's
But
ridiculous. Yeah.
I have to say that I was tremendously disappointed by this film,
Yeah.
almost to the extent where I disliked it. So, like,
Yeah.
I want to hear what you thought about it before I go into why I
I
felt that way.
I I definitely like agree like I didn't really know anything about this. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have any expectation for this at all. Um, I think that this movie is just like you can press mute and watch
Yes.
this.
Yes.
You don't have to fucking. You don't need fucking. You don't need sound. I mean, like it's. But I will say though, I feel like that's what this movie kind of is. Like I feel like this was kind of like one of the really problems. It's weird, right? Because I think this movie visually is one of the most creative and interesting and weird movies I've ever seen in terms of like
Yes.
visuals. It is stunning. I mean, I would recommend this to almost anybody who wants to study animation or film
Yes.
in general
Yes.
because this shit
Yes.
is mind blowing. I mean, it's fucking mind blowing.
It is.
If I was running an animation studio, I would fucking play this. You fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
Fucking watch this
dude.
shit. Watch what this guy did. Fucking
Yeah.
like, I think I saw on Amazon Trivia when I was watching it. It said took 5 years to make. I was like, okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what the fuck? Um, and just to kind of describe to the audience like what makes it so unique is it's stop motion, but in like it's not like sets. You know, it's not like models, not hand models, right? It's
Don't
life
it's not
size.
like yeah, it's not like Wallace and Gromit.
No, 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 no. It's like life size uh models, and mostly a lot of the environments were drawn on like walls. It's kind of hard to like describe.
Yeah.
It is a visual feast
The
for
other
the
thing,
fucking eyes.
so in addition to like the set being like a literal prop where it's like you're in a black box in a
Yeah,
play and
right.
you're watching the play happen on the walls, which is what it feels like, which is really awesome. You're also watching, they animated the animation process, which I thought was so cool. So they
Yeah.
like animated them putting the
Yes.
characters together,
Right.
and like while they're happening, they would change shapes and like morph and
Yeah.
shit,
Right.
which
Right.
is like so, I can't imagine how tedious that was
Oh my
to
god.
do that, because that
Oh
means,
my god.
because they didn't like cut to like Wallace like going like this or shit
Yeah.
like that. They animated every single
Yes.
fucking piece of
And
shit
it's
that they put
insane.
in there. It's crazy.
Ridiculous. I mean, it is truly like visually spectacular.
And the human,
Spectacular.
and it's eerie how human the stop motion, like there's
That's one of
these are
my
about people,
that's one of my favorite
like the
things about
eyelids moving,
it.
they're
Yeah.
like human eyelids fucking moving and shit. It doesn't feel
Another
like
thing
stop
like that
motion.
I really genuinely enjoyed about this, like I think the biggest problem with this is just like what this movie is like about, and like what the story kind of ends up kind of being, and how it's kind of told, because like it gets stale. It gets kind of tedious and
Yeah.
monotonous, and because what this movie is about, I- it's kind of hard to kind of like. There was a point where I really had no idea what the fuck was going on, but I was like kind of into it because it was just visually fucking like insane. But that's kind of all my enjoyment from this kind of came was how visually fucking stunning it was.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of a bummer because imagine if I cared about the story and what was
Yeah.
like going on.
Or you were fucking engaged for longer than
Yeah,
30 seconds.
yeah, that's the problem. Is like I was like engaged in the scenes where, like, I mean, visually, it's so
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I've
Okay.
never seen anything like this
Me
ever.
neither.
So it's cool to see that, but like when the main character Maria like sometimes with Mary, I'll be like, shut the fuck up.
Dude,
Shut the
dude.
fuck
Okay,
up.
okay, 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 dude. Okay, this is, you have nailed exactly the problem I think with this
I don't
film. I
care.
think, I think that the problem with this film is that pretentious fucking narration.
Uh-huh.
It ruins the experience of it, because what it is just like,
And
dude,
it's
if
not that
you,
it's like narration, it's like this lady
yeah,
who
just this random spoken word bullshit.
is just like what this movie I think is about this like girl who like escaped I think it's set it up in the beginning is she escaped like the German kind of uh government I guess or and she flees to this house, you
Yeah.
know, and we see, and that's a cool concept where we literally see kind of her life in this house like unfold as the movie goes on. She has kids, and
Yeah.
it's really cool. But how this is told is what Jesse's getting at. Is that it is told through her narration, which often is like reminding me of like the tree of life, but not interesting. It's
Absolutely,
like
dude.
it was like
You're
it was
speaking
just
literally
like
the words that I was feeling while watching this. Is like
yeah,
this is like Tree of Life that doesn't work. And
yeah,
okay, here's the thing to me. I think that this whole film, you don't have to cut any of the film whatsoever to make this work. You just cut all
uh,
of the narration, just the girl's narration, the wolf narrations, the Maria. That shit was cool. That was
yeah.
fine.
That was
Keep that,
really cool.
keep
That
all of
was
that in
really
there
cool.
because that's
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
yeah,
Cut all of her narration because anytime she talked on, you focused on that and it sucked. And also the reason why the narration sucks so much is because first of all, what she's saying is the dumbest shit I've ever read in my life.
yeah.
Second of all,
Yeah.
she was it was so
Also, I will say
confusing.
though, I don't know. This is a foreign movie. This is
Yeah.
in Spanish, so I
Well,
don't
okay,
know
here's
how the translation really like carries over. But yeah,
so yeah, we can put that aside. Maybe
you
it's
know what I
not
mean.
dumb. I don't know.
You
I
know what
get
I mean.
you're totally right. But the other problem with it, this is why it was so distracting for the film objectively, I think. I don't understand why anyone would enjoy this. Because the problem was is that sometimes she would be speaking as the characters on the screen and sometimes she'd be narrating
Yeah,
and you could not tell the difference
I have
because of
no
how
idea.
because she was narrating, she sounded like this the
Bro, I
whole
need to
time.
know. Wait, so she was supposed to be speaking as different characters?
Yes. Yeah. So
No
there was
idea.
moments there was like stuff like that. And it was like it was a laughably bad voiceover job, which is
Yeah,
what it sounded like at times. And it's
right.
like I get that's supposed to be experimental, but it doesn't work. Cut it. It
Yeah,
doesn't work. And the other thing that I think would have made this film like enjoyable and like because I found this physically painful to watch, which was so
yeah,
sad to me, is just add fucking music. What the fuck are you
right.
doing? Add
Yeah.
goddamn music.
Because
Fantasia works because of the music.
when there is music, it's
It's
really cool.
so good. And it's
Really
like,
good.
what are
Yeah,
you doing? It feels like an
yeah,
unfinished film. It's
yeah.
just like just cut the
It
narration,
does feel like
take
that.
take all of the space that you've wasted with that narration and
Yeah,
put it in fucking music.
it's hard to
It would
like.
be a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's hard to like because this clearly was like so hard to fucking make. Like I don't even
Yeah,
understand how you make something like this. Like
I
the
don't
artists
either.
involved in this are genius. I mean, this movie visually is spectacular. I can't say that enough.
I
It
know.
it is.
And that's the thing that
It,
makes me
I
that's the
don't
thing
understand. There
that's the
are shots where I'm like, I don't even understand what the fuck just happened
and
and
I I
how
I
they did that.
I just feel so it's one of the most
It is.
depressing
It's a bummer.
experiences.
It's a bummer
It's
because
it,
if you cared and it was more engaging as an actual film, this would be insane.
and
Yeah.
I was really hoping that you loved it because I wanted
Yeah.
access. I wanted access to understand this film because people are raving about this film, which I understand why. The visuals are amazing. It
I think.
deserves all these
Yeah.
accolades. It really does. But the problem is
This is
it's
another.
miserable to watch. It's miserable to
Yeah. I mean,
watch.
I feel like for some people, I mean, I kept thinking about. I was like, man, I feel like I'm watching something like from in school. You know,
Yeah.
like I feel like this is like an avant-garde film. I mean,
Yeah.
so the thing about avant-garde cinema is it's not going to work for everybody. I mean, it's almost that's one of the things that I kind of from did not like about avant-garde cinema when I would watch avant-garde films because it felt so inclusive and it felt so like specifically made for one type of person.
Sure.
And I feel like this is kind of that,
Yeah.
where like it makes sense why the Guillermo Toro love this, or it makes
Okay.
sense that
Yeah.
some of these, IndieWire, and shit like that love this, makes sense, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like I understand the praise that this movie gets. It just
I
didn't
do
click
too.
for me at all.
I think
It's
okay,
as a
so
story.
I think that that is like on one factor. I actually I think that I 100% agree with you. It could just be that this just doesn't click with us, like whatever they're making, it just doesn't click with us.
Because
But
there are people out there that think the tree of life is fucking bullshit.
sure, yeah,
And
yeah,
when you make something this weird and this like out there, you know, it's not gonna. It really is not. We say
Well,
that, but it. This is a prime example of like it really could not work for somebody. You know?
I think in my experience though, with my experience with this film is that I love a lot of avant-garde cinema. And the thing is what I don't like about avant-garde cinema is when the people who's making it has such a huge stick up their ass and it's
Yeah.
about them and not about the art of it. When the avant-garde cinema is
Right.
about the art of making it, I connect with it. I
Yeah. Right.
usually do.
Yeah.
As weird as it fucking is, it doesn't matter. I'm
Yeah.
in there. I'm
Right.
watching it. With this, I was disengaged because it was all about their dick up their own ass. It's what it was
Yeah.
about. Maybe honestly, I won't even say that's what it was. What it was to me was this decision to not let like why didn't they let go of that narration? That was it's such an
Well, I
easy
think they
thing to
were. I
do. If they did that
honestly.
narration, I think it
Well,
would have been watchable.
this is what it feels like to me. Like it feels like that was never a the plan. It was not the plan to
Yeah.
have
Yes.
narration.
Yes. Yes. It was like the
And the
Blade Runner
weird thing for
narration.
me, yeah,
That's what it
the
felt like. It's
yeah,
like,
the
what the
original
fuck are
one.
you doing? Why is there Blade Runner
Yeah,
narration? This
yeah,
is
that's actually a very
garbage.
good point. It feels like a studio note almost.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't a studio
It
note,
felt like an attempt to
but
make it more accessible and it made it less accessible.
well, I think it was an attempt to make it maybe not more accessible, but to kind of tell what's going on in the fear that the
Yes,
visuals weren't going to be engaging enough, and that was the wrong decision in my
it was a
opinion.
huge
Where they
mistake.
what they should have done was because the visuals are so vivid, they're so you really can tell what's going on. And all of them are interesting. Like that's one of the things that kind of blew my mind about this is that it's an hour long
Yeah.
and it is consistently engaging visually. Like
Yeah.
I was kind of stunned at the idea that they were coming up with constantly creative visual ideas throughout the whole thing. Like even at the
Yeah.
beginning with my favorite when the big heads and the fucking the house begins to plant flowers. Like that was like an insanely visual, beautiful. That's like one of the only music cues in the movie too,
Yeah. When
and
the dude dude
it works beautifully
dude, you're so
because you
right.
can
Like
tell that story. This didn't feel like you needed this literal like
so
fucking narration that is
what
just
they
so pointless.
the other thing I thought about was because you're so right. When the music cues came on, there was also a point when they added music that like it swelled into, and it was into that scene where that I was astounded by this, where they had that scene where it was the pigs and she was throwing a ball with the pigs, and
Yeah, oh
they
my
had
god.
that
How the
panel
fuck
with the
were they
panel
doing that?
that was so brilliant. And they had a music cue into that led into the narration. And the narration actually felt good with the music cue.
Yeah.
So it's like, because it made me think about the Bjork quote, which kind of a reverse of this, where Bjork was saying that music videos are great because our
Oh
eyes are
yeah.
more
Yeah.
mature than our
Right.
ears.
Yeah.
So like the visuals will make us cue into the ears.
It's a
But
great quote.
with this instance, I think it's actually reversed. If there was music, it would help us engage with the visual weirdness of it. That's why
Yeah.
Lynch works so well. That's why
Right.
Lynch is genius because he
Yeah.
knows that and he uses all of his mediums to like to
Yeah.
abstract everything but give us enough to grasp on that we're
Right.
always going somewhere,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like it's
Right.
always movement. And the thing for this is that there was just like you wanted to engage with it, but there were such inaccessible dead moments that it just made you hate me, at least. It made
Yeah.
me hate watching it. I
Yeah.
physically hated watching it because of like how dead those moments were.
Yeah, I
Basically,
do
all
agree
based
with
on the
that.
because it's amazing how that narration is just one piece of it, but it made me hate the whole fucking thing.
Well, it just is like it's because what do we watch movies for? Like the stories,
Yeah.
right? And like this movie, like is trying to tell you the story, and not only with this narration, but it completely fails at doing that. So I
Yeah.
couldn't really tell you what the story was.
Yeah. It's kind of, you know
You
what it
know,
felt like? If it felt like reading classic literature and your teacher told you what it meant and you're like, dude, I didn't get that at all. You're
it's
a
so
piece of
funny
shit.
if you just take if you just take the narration out. I feel like it's just be way more interesting than a movie because
I agree. I
you could just
agree.
like interpret what you fucking just saw,
I'm
you
so
know. And
glad.
there's enough there where an audience member could like engage with it. You know?
Maybe it's because we're like literally the same demographic that we both feel this way. So it's like if someone
Yeah,
else
right.
watched it, I would love to have
Yeah,
other people's
we're also
opinions.
25 years old.
I would love to hear
24. How,
I would
what? I'm
Guillermo
23 years old. Jesus Christ. You just turned 23. We're not 25 years old. Good Lord.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I would love to
It's
have
cool.
someone
It's
argue
cool.
with me about it,
I
but
honestly think like if you watch the trailer for this and this seems engaging to you and cool, watch it because it really is really interesting.
it
Like in
is.
terms of it really you have not seen anything like it. But
And
if
I
you want my suggestion, press mute and
yeah.
put some Beethoven, and you might really like it.
I feel that was something I was thinking about. It's just like I would love interactive music, but it's like I'm so mesmerized by the visuals of this that I would love to just but the other travesty about
So
it
mesmerizing.
is that like the sound design is brilliant. It's
Yeah.
just the fucking voiceover. So it's like I also feel terrible. I feel like I'm cutting off a limb muting it because of how beautiful the sound design and some of the music is, but the narration just ruins it. And that makes
Yeah.
me so sad that I have to sacrifice something. Like I think it would be watchable if you just put mute and put your own music to it. I think it'd be quite watchable,
Yeah, right.
honestly. I
Yeah.
really do. And it makes me so sad because I know that sound design. There's so much love put into that sound design.
What's also cool about this movie too is like it's not just like the visuals too that kind of blew my mind. Like part of the visuals that blew my mind was like no stop motion. Like you can't move the camera, right?
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
kind of be still and a lot of still shots. What's so like kind of like mesmerizes like the camera will like turn and like one shot and the whole fucking wall is just changing and all these
Yeah.
things are coming in. I mean, it's really remarkable the technical achievement that went on in this movie. Another thing that kind of is bummer, when did they make this? Like
I
what
think this
year?
was I think this was 2018 is when this was
Okay,
made. But
what the fuck camera did they shoot on? Like what? It seems like I thought that this was like a 1980s film.
yeah,
It
right.
was obviously a choice that they shot on like a really like
Kind of
low, like a film camera. But I kept thinking, I was like, what if this was like shot on like 35 millimeter film? That but it's probably hard. It's
you
probably really
know
hard to do that. It was probably
uh,
for technical reasons. But when I watched this, I was like, because at the beginning it says that this film was restored for like viewing.
yeah, and
But
I can't tell if
when
that
I
was
kept
literal
watching it, I
or
was
in
like,
the narrative. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know either. When I was watching that, I was like, oh, is this like a really old movie that they just restored? But then, like, there's things about it that are like, no, this is, like, you see the clothes, and they're like,
No. Yeah.
that's like modern clothing.
Yeah, no, it's 100% modern and
So that's kind of a cool thing about it, where it's like, it's kind of ageless in a way. Like, you don't even
yeah.
know, I don't even know what the fuck, like, you can tell me that this movie came out in 1960, or this was made in the 70s, and I would
Yeah.
believe you,
Yeah.
you know?
It's a really so this other factor about
Really
sort of
low-fi.
yeah. And I think the lo-fi-ness of it here's another thing that is just both like a to me a tragedy about this is that I love lo-fi aesthetic of things. I know you do too.
Yeah,
A lot of people do. It's very popular right now actually.
yes.
But like and I love that about this film is how it feels like humans made this. But the fact of the
Yeah,
matter that you have just the grasp on it, you start nitpicking. That was what I
yeah,
tended to do.
sure,
I started
yeah,
nitpicking, and one of the things was just like, man, I wish the camera was straight because it's
right.
nauseating. And I thought about that, and it's just like I'm nitpicking because they're not giving me anything else to do. And it's like if they
To
gave me
me,
music, this
yeah.
would not be a
To
problem.
me, like, also, a thing that, like, I kind of, like, forgave with this is that this is clearly an experiment. This is
Totally. That's
clearly
a
an
great point.
experiment.
That's a
You don't know,
great
no
point.
one's ever done something like this.
You
To
know,
my knowledge,
yeah.
and, like, to me, like, I didn't really enjoy watching this, but good lord, I am, like, blown away by the attempt. you know, to
Then
make something like this.
I'm so glad you
Like,
said that.
what the hell?
I'm so glad you said that because you're
Because
100%
even like
right.
technically, there are actual technical problems with this movie. Like,
Sure.
there are shots, there are like frames that are completely wrong aperture, completely wrong. The lighting is fucked in some
Yeah.
shots, you know. So like, you get this sometimes really kind of nauseating um sequence where like there's different light balances and shit going on in like one kind of frame.
Yeah.
And that's a big technical issue that completely pulls me out. Or like, okay, that picture was clearly not shot the same time of day as that one. You
Yeah.
know, so and I get it though. I get it. When you do something like this, man, like what
Yeah.
even bro, okay, you know what really made me like do like bro, I don't even know like why you would even try to do this. Like just thinking about making this because that shot of like the eye, like there's a lot of them. The eyes on the wall, the eyes are like moving on the walls and shit.
Yeah.
Do they have to fucking erase? Like, how do they do that? Like,
I don't know.
do they have to start from scratch every single time with the fucking eye look? Like, on this whole wall? Like, do they have to
Yeah.
fucking, what the fuck? Like, I'm
Yeah.
watching that, I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's like
dude,
it
who's
was mess.
masochistic enough to
Yes,
do
that's
this?
exactly the word. That's exactly the word I was
What
thinking about
the hell?
because they did have to do that because this I'm 100% certain this was all handmade, not
So I
digital at
would love
all.
to see another movie like this. Like if they get funding to make another film like this, if they ever will,
Yes.
I am there.
And I think that that leads into the thought I had while watching a movie. It's just like I don't like this, but this is innovative as fuck, and the next one that is inspired by this
Yeah,
is going to be a fucking
it's
masterpiece.
gonna be crazy. Yeah,
It's gonna
it's gonna be
blow us all
wild.
away. It's gonna
Yeah,
blow us, which this already blew everyone away. It's
yeah,
already
right,
fantastic in more like okay. The other thing about this movie is I think another sort of like irony or paradox about this is that we always say the whole is more than the sum of its parts, right?
right.
In this situation, the sum of its parts is much better than the whole.
Yeah, yes, yeah,
For me, it's
right.
like the parts of this are way better than
It
what the
kind of reminds
whole
me of
experience
Meg
came out to be.
in like a recent movie
Yes.
where I thought like all the parts were fucking really good, but when it comes together, it's like not really,
Yeah,
not
that's a
really
good
there.
thing because we in Mank the word we kept using is that it never synthesized, and that's exactly how this movie was. You know, it never synthesized together and
Yeah,
never quite gelled in a
yeah.
way that made it like
It is,
satisfying. Not to say all art has to be satisfying, but like to
yeah,
me, this was not like a good kind of challenging. This was like this fucked
yeah,
up. This
yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah, sure. I totally, totally agree with that for sure. Like, this is kind of like the avant-garde movie that's like painful to watch. You know, at
Yeah.
points. I mean, there were the first, the first like 30 minutes of it, I was pretty like engaged with it, and then it kind of like yeah, then the narration just completely lost me. Because
Yeah. Okay. Here's
I realized this is all the movie has to offer, like in terms of like audio and like really, like this is really
yeah.
all that we're gonna do
This is
for an
it.
hour
Yeah.
is say these empty platitude poems. That's what we're really gonna do.
Yes.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
So,
awful. It's
so
so
that's I
awful.
totally agree with your frustration with it because so many better ways to do this. And that's not one of them.
Yeah.
Either take that shit out or have better. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
I don't. I
know.
literally because I agree with you. It feels like an afterthought just to throw those empty platitudes. So it's such a great
Yeah.
way to
This
describe it.
reminded me a lot of like I'm seeing like another kind of avant-garde video essay like this, and I fucking hate it. I like this way better, but this other movie called Heart of the Dog that's like super well known as like a personal video essay, and I fucking hated that movie. I wanted to reach into the screen and strangle that person that was narrating the fucking movie. I was like,
Yeah.
why are you forcing me to watch this fucking dribble that you're
Yeah.
saying into your microphone right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So on one hand, I totally understand your frustration where it's like, why are you forcing me to like listen to this? Like,
Yeah.
because I love what you're doing, on the screen.
Yes. Yeah.
Why are you sabotaging your own movie?
What? Yeah, that's what it felt
Come
like
on,
to
man.
me. I really hope that most people don't feel like that, honestly, because I think that this is
I don't know. Not a lot of
in
people
my
feel that.
in my viewing experience, which I probably said this a couple of times now, this is a masterpiece obscured by a layer of shit.
Yeah,
You
there's
know,
a
it's like,
masterpiece hidden in here.
and it's so sad because I can see the masterpiece. You know,
Yeah,
I
it's
can
hidden
see
in
it.
there.
I can
Definitely
see it and I
hidden
can
in there.
feel it, but I just don't want to eat it because it's covered in shit. I nothing I don't want anything to do with it. I will say I'm inspired now to try watching this again, muted with my own music choice. I think that sounds sweet. I'll try that.
I just kept watching. I was like, dude, imagine if you were just baked out of your fucking mind watching this.
That would be sick.
You'd
It'd
just
be
be
kind of scary,
so
honestly.
stunned. Yeah, I'll be pretty scary.
I'm really
But kind of
glad.
like in a good kind of way.
Yeah,
You know?
I feel like if I watched this, if I was stoned and I watched this for
I'm
the first
surprised you
time,
didn't.
I almost did. And I'm really
Yeah, you
glad I
would have been
didn't
really
because
mad.
I think it really would have fucked me up
Yeah.
because I would have gotten
Got
emotional
crazy
because I would have hated it.
from the
And
fucking.
I don't know if I could have watched it. I hope I would have had the foresight to turn it off and try again at a different time. Like
Yeah.
I hope because I think it really would have
That's happened
bothered
to me
me.
before.
Yeah. I think I would have done that. I think I would have like I mean, I almost turned this off when I was watching this earlier today. I just forced myself to
Oh,
just like, dude,
I took breaks.
yeah.
I
I
would watch like
just
20 minutes of it. I was like, okay, I shut up, lady. So I was like,
that's a
walk
good
away.
that's a good way that's a good way to do it because it's like it's pretty digestible in 20-minute breaks. I was checking the time constantly. That's a terrible thing. I hate it.
Yeah.
I have not done that for a movie. I don't know if I've ever done that for a movie where I'm constantly checking a
Oh, I've
time.
done that. I know when I'm kind of bored when I watch when that happens.
Yeah. I've skipped movies all the way to the end. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to skip like fly through this
Yeah, I know,
movie,
right? I
but
know.
man,
Bummer.
it's but
Too
again,
tight,
it's
Steve.
are we done? Let's stop shitting on it
Yeah, we're
because
done.
it's also it is sort of a masterpiece. That's the thing that's so bizarre about this
Yeah, like I
movie.
keep saying, like it might work for you, like, for real. You might
Please
like
try
really
it.
be into it. You might be
Yeah.
really into the weird hypnotic quality that this movie kind of goes for. I wasn't really lost in the trance
No.
because I just thought it was stupid, but um, and also I think there's a weird disconnect because you're not emotionally connected to the character.
At all.
Yeah, like you're not. So it's
At all.
really just visually spectacular. The
Yeah.
problem is that only get you so far.
And I
That's
feel like
on a lot of things, like Refn. There's some like Only God Forgives. Oh, fucking so engaging visually to a point, and then you're like, okay, there's nothing really here.
I feel like honestly, I feel like what this movie is if Drive had the Suicide Squad soundtrack. That's what I feel like this movie is. Like if you just put a Suicide soundtrack on Drive.
Oh fuck, yeah, it really is. I'm trying to find I picked a movie for next week and I can't find it.
You can't find it on Amazon or you can't like it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, I
You
can't
just
remember
made it
what it
up.
was. So I'm looking. Oh, damn it. But yeah, this is, what is this movie called? The La
The
Casa
Wolf,
Lobo.
the Casa Lobo, the Wolf
The
House.
Wolf House, which I don't even know why it's, oh, wait, yeah, I do.
But I think it's safe to say that this is not approved.
I don't
Thick
think
and
this is approved. I don't think this is approved.
I think you can say I think we encourage you to watch it and try it for
Yes.
experimentation, but it's not thick. What do we do for thick and butter not approved? Shoal Station was not thick and butter approved. What do we say?
There must have been a movie that we didn't like.
Shoal Station. I think that was not approved. We didn't like Soul Station. You remember that
Yeah,
movie? I think I've only picked movies we
kinda.
don't like. I've only picked the duds. Both of them have been
You
animation,
really like Mank.
surprisingly. Oh yeah, I don't think we approved of Mank. Did we approve of Mank?
I don't think so.
I don't. We can have. I hated Mank. I've
Yeah.
hated Mank more. I texted you the other day about how much I hated Mank. That's okay.
Yeah.
This is the interesting
Very
thing about Mank.
forgettable. Very
Mank is
forgettable.
Mank is so interesting because Mank is the kind of like it's you think of a movie that kind of sticks with you and keeps coming back in flashes to be a good movie, but Mank's the kind of movie for me that keeps coming back in flashes that just makes me realize how much I hated it. Do you have
Yeah.
movies like that that
Oh
you
yeah,
just like
absolutely. Yeah.
I like that was it was visceral for Mank where I just keep remembering it being like that was dog
Yeah,
shit.
no,
This
it
is
was more like
so bad.
forgettable for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not a piece of yeah,
more
it's not
forgettable.
like it's a terribly yeah, which
Sometimes
that's
those
like
movies frustrate me more too, though. Like
that's I think that's what it
those
was for
things.
me. That's
If
what it
you
was
look
for me.
like something like really bad, I could like sit back and like laugh. Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but sometimes like forgettable movies kind of frustrate me more.
I
Like I
think
saw that Denzel movie recently.
oh
The
yeah.
new one, it was so fucking like I forgot it in like an hour.
Yeah, that's
Like
bad.
I was like, wow, I forgot I saw a movie today.
I feel like it's interesting because like a movie like Expendables 2, I'm not offended by that and it's forgettable. And it's
Right.
like I didn't necessarily enjoy watching it
You
all that
saw
much.
Expendables too.
Yeah, I
That's
did.
hilarious that you've
Yeah.
seen that.
I watched it with my dad and it was Expendables 2. It's everything you would expect out of
Yeah.
Expendables 2.
Yeah.
But like a film like Mank versus the Wolf House, you watch it and it's like
You watching the Expendables is like maybe my favorite thing ever.
yeah, I
Just
would just
you
be
watch like you watching it is like just makes me laugh. When like one liner after one liner after one liner, and Bruce Willis is like old as shit, and he's like fucking shooting machine guns. I can just imagine you just like, dude, what the fuck am I watching?
I did not
That
like
movie is
Expendables
made for
2.
old men
I
that
yeah.
grew up with those old men as action heroes.
Oh
And
yeah.
what the fuck? It's not a movie that I ever want to see ever.
You shouldn't. It wasn't good. I don't remember a single thing that happened. I kind of have like
Makes sense.
I have vague memories of like Sylvester Stallone in Moonlight and he's like sweaty, but that's
Right.
also like every movie with
Right.
Sylvester Stallone.
Sweaty.
Did
Um.
you
Oh,
find it
dude.
yet? I want to
Okay.
get out of
Well,
here.
no. Okay. I you mentioned Bjork, and I think we should watch a movie. One of the only movies
Uh-oh.
Bjork is ever in, because I've seen it years ago, and I loved it when I saw it, but I would
I
like
think
to
I know
see
what
it
movie you're
again.
talking about.
And we haven't talked about Lars von Trier either.
Oh boy,
This is
dude.
gonna be our popping of the cherry of one of the biggest dickheads in Hollywood, but
Yeah.
he's a very good filmmaker. And this is a movie called Dancer in the Dark that stars Bjork. It is a musical, believe it or not. So it's likely our first musical that we've ever talked about
Dancer in the
on this
Dark is a
podcast.
musical?
Yeah, baby. It is a
Wow.
musical. Bjork music. Um,
That's cool.
really cool. It's a really good movie from what I remember. Warning though, if you're listening to this, it is extremely depressing. Very, 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 very sad. Um, but yeah, rewarding, in my opinion.
All
But
right. Let's
so
go.
we're gonna do Dancer in the Dark for next week. Should be a good time. As a big New York fan, both of us, I think we'll get a lot out of it.
I don't think
Um,
I've actually ever seen a Lars von Trier movie.
wow, this is a good one to see. Then.
Yeah.
Cool,
There's
good
a lot
first
of I
one.
want to see Antichrist, I want to see the Jack the House built, and I want to see
Yeah,
Dancer in the Dark. So, all right,
I
here we
think
go.
I think you should see
Here we
if you want
go.
my Lars von Trier list. Melancholia,
Mhm.
amazing movie. Maybe my favorite of his movies that I've seen. Antichrist is fucked but beautiful. And then um, Breaking the Waves, I saw like half of it and I loved it, and then I fell asleep. Uh, and then Dancer in the Dark. Those are the only ones that I've seen. I have seen Nymphomaniac, and the first part of Nymphomaniac is really, really good. It's two movies. That's how pretentious
Yeah.
that fuck is. He made a
Yeah.
5-hour movie called Nymphomaniac and split it up into 2 movies. Only 1 and 2. What the fuck? But the first one is amazing, really, really good. Second one is Lars von Trier pretentious fuckery. So uh, I would suggest Nymphomaniac maybe too. But anyway,
Yeah.
that movie, people were having sex in that movie. There were there were no simulations. If you want to see Shia LaBeouf's real diggling going to a real vajayjay, check that movie out.
That's crazy. So crazy.
Yes. All right, everyone. On that note, thank you guys so much for listening.
Lars von Trier next
Episode
week.
90. Yeah. All right, everybody. We love you. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Subscribe. On
Tell your
YouTube.
mom and dad,
Your
and
mom,
squash and dogs
Yes.
and apricots and
No, squash and
alcohol.
dog.
Squash and dog. We're
Yes,
gonna
everybody.
allow magic mushrooms in next week
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah.
Magic mushrooms are allowed into the crowd because we're open.
We should do a podcast where we both do magic mushrooms.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. That'd be
insane.
That'd be insane.
Anyway, we love you. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.